And welcome to the Footy Podcast. To benefit Here's Help. Here's Help is a nonprofit comprehensive rehabilitation and educational agency that's been providing treatment services in South Florida since 1968. For more information on Here's Help or Footy's podcast, you can contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. Now, here's Footy.
I'm Footy. I'm your host. This is our podcast. We do it weekly from the studios over at Here's Help. I'm also close to becoming a mental patient. I really, I mean, being in this limbo and purgatory that we're in, it's like, and you can't get a straight answer. It's like, well, you should quarantine for 14 days. Jesus. Oh, you don't have to quarantine. Just come right on up. Oh, everything is whatever.
Well, you should back that up by explaining to everyone that we were discussing before the podcast that you're trying to put together some kind of trip out of Dodge, and you can't. Nobody will tell you what you need to do to make that happen.
I can't get a straight answer.
So now in New York, you're trying to get up to New York, right?
No, my annual New York
that's done.
December trip.
Yeah.
Is gone.
Okay, so where are you trying to go
Darlene
now?
Love is not playing at the Landmark Theater. They had her in the Macy's parade.
I thought of you.
Doing a virtual. I'm used to going to a theater and seeing Darlene live, and then going up.
I just had visions.
Dinner
I just had visions of you being the lone guy in front of Macy's, with the paper running by in the breeze, and you're like cheering for Darlene, the only one.
Anyway,
like a dillweed just passes by.
You talk about Christmas songs.
She still got it too.
She
still got it.
Normally, I go up. I'll go to my roots to New York, and I'll go with my friends. We go to a place called Louis in Port Washington, or we go to Brico's in Manhattan. And we go to dinner, and we all have a great time. We all know each other since we were little kids. And, Monty's always there.
Instead of going to Brico, you have to go to Brico now for...
If I were you, I would leave the comedy to me.
All right, Robert De Niro.
Robin De Niro.
Robin. Did you really say that?
I said Robert.
Oh.
You sure?
Yes.
Actually, the fact that you mentioned it now, yesterday I watched a Robert De Niro picture.
Oh, okay. Was it the new one, The Family?
No, it's the Bronx Tale.
Okay.
Where he's in there with Chaz Palminteri and the kid that played the kid in the movie ended up getting
in the mob. Oddly enough.
No, he got arrested.
Really?
What?
Yeah, they sent him up the road.
What did he do? Was he?
I think it was some pretty serious stuff.
Wow.
Wow.
That's such a great
like a
movie.
RICO charge or something like that?
Huh?
Like a RICO charge?
Oh, I don't know what his charges were, but it was not good.
Yeah.
He
I can tell you that much.
and his career is shot.
Well,
and
that's such a great movie.
But that
now you just can't leave.
Yeah, I love that line. That's my favorite. My favorite line in the movie is, "Now you just can't leave."
I'm sure there's probably a T-shirt
and he
somewhere.
closes the door.
Locks.
Well, what you do is you go up to Arthur Avenue, and they'll have those. Trust me, I know where to go there. And, but that's my youth. We had a boat that we kept at City Island, and a little runabout. And just take the bus to City Island and get off, turn around and come back. And then we used to go to the Bronx pool. In
the boat, which was kind of a safety hazard.
Well, in the boat we used to go out into Long Island Sound, or people forget that New York's an island. The whole place is just a bunch of islands. But anyway, for me as a kid, it was kind of idyllic.
I can't imagine. I didn't realize that the boat thing was. I thought the boat thing was something you got into after you came down here.
No.
But, I didn't realize it's been.
We were in boats.
That must have been the greatest.
Yeah, we were in boats when me and my brothers and my father. In the winter, we'd fix up the boat, repair everything, paint it, and all that. And then in the summer, we'd go to City Island, hop in the boat, go out into Long Island Sound,
That's crazy.
and do it. Nobody, that's like Florida. There's a million things you can do.
Right.
And New York's the same way. There's a million different things you can do.
Got to know where to look.
Yeah, and you got to know. And but the Bronx Tale, the movie, I can relate to the whole thing. Yeah,
That's funny.
you know, we even had. I could tell you the name of the local mafia guy in my neighborhood. His name was Vinnie Marabella.
Oh, just don't say that. He could.
Nah, he's dead.
He could come looking for you.
Yeah,
No, he's dead.
he's too old. He's too old to knock him on his ass.
Vinny what?
Huh?
What was it?
Marabella.
Vinny Marabella. Yeah, that's.
He was
it's got
dating.
that ring to it.
He was dating Mrs. Romano. Yeah, to give you an idea what the neighborhood was like.
I guess we know what happened to Mr. Romano.
I don't know what happened to him.
He disappeared
I think,
mysterious.
No.
Sleeping with the
I
fishes.
think he just ran off on
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Because Peter and Vinnie Romano, I knew them. I hung around with them. And the mother was like, I mean, she might have been, she should have walked out of an Anna Magnani movie. I mean, it was unbelievable.
That's too funny.
But that's a whole different world.
Right.
Anyway, so I'm attempting to go on a small vacation to Chitti Atlantico.
Who?
Yeah. Chitti Atlantico. That's Italian for
Oh.
Atlantic City.
Gotcha.
And,
He was trying so hard to understand.
and, you know, just to get away. I mean,
Right.
are you going crazy from?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The only good thing about what I do is I go from one studio to the other, so at least my environment changes a little bit, you know, and so I'm just kind of an employee. Lori's kind of the boss, so I don't have to do any of the heavy decisions. So I just kind of go hide in soundproof rooms. So that works for me.
Well,
But
you're
yeah.
listening to our Here's Help podcast, and we're coming to you from the studios at Here's Help. And what we do here is we have our own school, and it's a special school for guys that have had difficulties along the way, and we try to, and we have one of those right here,
And
because,
speaking of getting out,
yeah, Nick, you're leaving, right?
Yeah, this Friday actually.
And where you going?
I'm going to Sunset Place in a halfway house. They haven't given me the directions, but they told me it's Sunset Place.
Who's
That-
they?
Steve, the case manager, and Zonka
So they're placing you,
in a halfway house,
In
and
a
I'm going to
halfway
have outpatient as well.
yeah, outpatient here.
Outpatient down south.
Oh, that's yeah.
Wait, that's
Got to go all the way there. Where are you from? What neighborhood?
Opalaka.
Oh, really? You're
I'm
in
from
Opa-locka?
here.
Yeah.
I live on 135th Street, 27th Ave.
For those of you who don't know, Here's Help is located on 151st and Northwest 27th Avenue. One side of the street is Opalaka. The other side of the street is Miami Gardens.
Yup.
Our building is actually in Miami Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the street is the old Opalaka.
As soon as you step on that line, it's just now you're in Opalaka. What's up?
Yeah. I remember when I first moved here, I was going to Miami-Dade, and I used to call it Opalaka. Went right over his head. You see,
Opalaka.
Did you see it skim off his head?
I think he froze.
I kind of got lost for a minute there.
So what are your plans, Nick? Now that you're embarking on your new life.
My new life, I'm actually ready to get out and find a job and to progress and grow up to become a man, someone that's independent and doesn't need to depend on somebody.
Let me tell you something. That is a very good goal. That is important that you achieve that goal, because you have to now go into the world and fend for yourself.
Oh, especially in this time of age. This is the
Oh,
best
yep.
time.
Yeah, it's a. But when you're independent and you're your own man, living, earning money, doing whatever it is you're doing, well, then there's a certain freedom that goes with that. You know, like me, if I want to leave now and go somewhere, I can do that. You know, and you're going to be facing all that kind of type of stuff too. I faced it, but I had to. They didn't give me. They put me to work. That way, they could not only, would I work and maybe earn money, but they could watch me. You understand what I mean? They didn't just open the door for me. They said, no.
Where you going?
Yeah, where you going? And but it all worked out in the end. And I went to a residential, but I also went later on to a halfway house. Asked me what it was called.
What's it called?
It was called Nancy, my girlfriend's house. Anytime I had a free minute anywhere, I was like, zoom. Here I am.
Hi there.
And she still calls me to this day. I talk to her.
Are you serious?
I talked to her a couple of days ago, yeah. See, I'm an unforgettable character.
I think you told me that.
Yeah, people have a tendency. I was just driving down, and I got a phone call from a guy I grew up with. His name is Dennis McCann. Gee, unusual that he was Irish. Anyway, he was a cop. Now he's a retired cop. But I stay in touch with them. I still see them, and
I can see that you stay in touch with a lot of people from your past. Like majority nowadays, people don't stay in touch with their friends from the past, or even just workers or anybody.
No, we I think it's just kind of our makeup and our nature. You're right. I was just down in the Keys with my cousin from Detroit. We grew up together. Him and his sister were twins. It was like the boy and the girl twins. Yeah, and we were all the same age, so we hung around together, spent a lot of time together, and I still stay in touch with him. So
That's good.
But here's something a little depressing. There's a lot of guys that I'm not in touch with anymore. You know why?
Don't tell me. I already know what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're 6 feet under.
Yeah.
Or they're locked up where you're never going to see them again. Can you imagine? Have you guys been to jail?
Nope.
Nah, just
Good guy.
TGK.
Turner Guilford?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a jail.
Okay. Well, that's more of a corrections type
Yeah,
of
but
deal.
it's you're right. It's not Sing Sing, but it's still a jail.
It's not county, but it's
It's
still
still jail.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. You eat the same thing there that you eat in county, like sweet beans with a with just a hot dog, no bun,
Yeah.
and like 4 cookies.
Yeah.
It's so funny. He rates everything by the food. I've noticed that. That's pretty funny.
Oh man.
You're listening to the Here's Help podcast. I'm Footy. This is Ron Hersey and Nick and
Gregory,
and we're broadcasting from. Well, we're doing the podcast from the studios over at Here's Help. We do it every week. We record it on the Tuesday and it airs roughly on Thursday, right?
Yeah, it takes a couple of days to put it together and dress it up a little bit.
Do we get response? People responding? Do we?
We've gotten some comments. By the way, you can check out all of our podcasts. Just go to YouTube and search Footy's Podcast.
Right.
And they'll pop up there, and make sure you click subscribe. And if you click on the little bell icon there, also it'll alert you when we've added new podcasts. And you can get more information on Here's Help at here'shelpinc.com. And there's a whole list of different phone numbers that you can select from depending on what it is you need to find out when you call.
I don't know if you posted this episode, but there was one episode where I mentioned that you can get a free Here's Help mask
Oh yeah, I have
mailed to you.
That's right. I have
All right,
to
we'll have to see.
check our responses on that one.
Right.
So
Forgot which episode it was though.
But the
Free
views are
Here's Help, man.
Yes.
views are growing steadily. You know,
Yeah.
we're not anywhere near. Like
We have like
Slow progress is
we have
no progress.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of masks, but we can't go giving them all away.
so
Right.
Just
We
one.
have to keep them for us.
That's why I said just one.
Yeah, one is enough. We don't want to start equipping. Who knows when this is going to be over? This is like being. You guys wouldn't know. You're too young, but this is like being in a Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I'm waiting for Rod Serling to walk in.
I'm
Oh my
wondering
God.
how it is once I step out there.
I was
Because
going to say this place is a sanctuary.
this,
You-
like, being in here is completely, like, away from that world. I don't know what's
Serene.
happening. So,
Yeah.
like, as soon as I get out there, I'm wondering because I was Baker acted in March, and I was put into Jackson when Corona started. Like, around that time, Corona started, everything started closing. So, for the whole time, I was just away from the Corona world. I haven't missed much. So, I'm just wondering when I step out there, I wonder what I will see. I wonder what I'll encounter.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what you're going to encounter. Okay, because I did it. I know what you're going to encounter. You're going to encounter temptation. You're going to encounter people who want to talk you into being what they're into.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get people trying to, undermine you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you when I was going through that process, okay, and I was under the care of a Dr. Victoria Sears. She's the godmother of this kind of stuff, and I had to figure out, how am I going to protect myself from that world that's still there. I'm still operating in that world. So I'll tell you what I did. Girls. That's what I did. Every night I would go over to I didn't have a lot of girlfriends, but I had like 2 or 3 handy ones. And every night after I went to groups and therapy and all the other stuff that I went through, then I was able to work, and then after work took a shower, went over, sat. I still see her. She calls me, and her sister does, and she was. You guys know who Simon and Garfunkel are?
No.
No, they're singing, like, I guess they'd be called folk guys.
I think we're
Yeah.
too
Okay.
young.
Wasn't exactly my type of music,
right.
I think we're too young for
Acoustic,
that.
very acoustic folk music,
but
Really?
ballads. Yeah.
The girl, Nancy, could listen to their album over and over and over again. She never got tired of it. Luckily, I wasn't allowed to carry a firearm at that time because I would have blown my brains out or her brains out.
Or at least the record.
But I was still under supervision, so I had to be very careful where I went, what I did, and I had to get through it.
Mhm.
That's
And I did. And then as soon as I got through it, I didn't leave on a jet plane. I left in I left. They had this. I don't know if they still do it, but like the snowbirds from New York, they will have people, like most of them are elderly. They retire. They come down, so they would get people to ferry their car,
Mhm.
and then they would fly down.
Right.
Well, they made the
You were the
mistake.
ferry.
They made the mistake of me and a guy named Billy Riker, rest in peace. They were in Long Beach on Long Island, and
Right.
I don't know how we contacted them, but we got the car and we took off.
Wow.
And
2 of you from that distance, that car must have been.
with a case of Ripple in the
Oh,
car.
God.
And we got stopped by the police, like Jacksonville and here. No, they were watching the highways, I guess. But the poor people, I think they lived in Bal Harbor area, but the car wasn't exactly in the same mint condition that it was when it left Long Beach.
And on that note, let's take a short break.
Can't find your favorite footy sauce? Stop by your local Publix where shopping is a pleasure and ask the manager where to find the world's greatest wing and hot sauce. All proceeds benefit Here's Help in the fight against drug abuse.
I'm Footy. I'm your host. We are coming to you with our weekly podcast from the campus over at Here's Help. Ron Hersey is here. He's the brains of the operation.
Which is pretty frightening.
Yeah. We're broadcasting our weekly podcast from the studios at Here's Help on 151st Northwest 27th Avenue. If you need to contact us, just go to here'shelpinc.com. What we really specialize in is outpatient and
inpatient
and residential substance abuse help of all types. Do you know anybody who's died from COVID?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Who?
Lori's aunt died.
She was, 115?
Well, yeah, so.
What's that movie actor that died from the Marvel that played Black Panther?
That's like the argument.
Chadwick,
they had they're
Crosby?
just having a conversation.
Yeah, pay attention, guys. Pay attention.
That's like the argument. Well, so and so died. Well, he had asthma. So what? So you're saying just because somebody has pre-existing conditions, it's okay that they die? If somebody's 110 years old,
I'll tell you what. I see in the paper every day and on the news, 1,700 people died in, Pensacola area of Florida, this, that, or the other thing, and it's in New York and here. And I don't know anybody.
Good for you.
Anybody who died.
I know lots of people who got it, and a lot of people who got really sick from it.
Really?
And I do know people who died.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're seeing.
So you know specific people who died of COVID?
Yeah. Specifically, because the way that you're.
Who was it? Your 300-year-old aunt?
This was my wife's
No.
aunt. We're back to that discussion again.
Right. I know a couple people that got that 14-day fever and with muscle aches with.
Yeah, that I experienced too.
Right.
I understand that.
Mm.
But when you look at the news, it's big bold letters. 2,700 people died here and there. If I get COVID, I'll probably die in a mental institution.
Really funny.
But it is. It's frustrating. And one of the problems is it, as we've kind of illustrated here, it affects everybody in a different way. I don't think I've ever seen some type of virus or flu that comes into an area. Usually, they say, okay, well, this is the so-and-so flu, and it's going to be, you're going to have very high fever. Everybody gets a high fever with this. But with COVID, it affects everybody different ways. It kind of finds out where you're the weakest part of your body and goes after that and convinces your immune system to attack you.
You and I are of the age of really diseases. I mean, they treated...
those all cleared up.
No, they treated us for smallpox.
Polio.
They had us for years. Dr. Salk was shooting us up with
still got mine.
needles and all kinds of things, and
Malaria.
then drinks and all kinds of different things that you had. And Jonas Salk, he was... Lucky me, he was on Long Island, so we were in for years. They would line us up in this hallway and
For Dr. Salk.
give us a shot, give us this.
Yeah.
And I remember a guy named Frank Colaci. Frank made a run for it. They came after him
Oh
with
man.
that big giant needle.
Oh God.
But they had eventually they got to a little drink. We drank a little drink thing, but there were so many different diseases that you could, it was always something. I remember her name, Carolyn White. We got off for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
She came back to school in braces and had polio.
Yeah, well, my guy that I work with, his dad, who actually, oddly enough, Larry McCabe, he was one of the early DJs on Y100. Remember, he had polio as a child, and to this day, he still uses
The braces?
braces and crutches. And it's interesting because he worked in L.A. long enough, he's on a lot of sitcoms doing the announcer role, and they always go to great lengths to make sure he's sitting down somewhere so you don't. It's like the old talk about showing your age. The old game show host Bill Cullen.
Oh my God!
It was also a polio victim.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and he also had braces. So, and they also went to great lengths to.
Well, you got a hell of a memory.
Only for the stuff that has no importance or no value. A head full of useless information, trivia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys even know what polio is?
Nope. I'm too young.
I have an idea. Like,
Well, you always have an idea.
Always Greg.
Yeah. So I know, from what I know, like I've always heard it was
this
a
is gonna be good.
disease. Now polio. I don't know exactly what it does to the human body.
It's something to do with the central nervous system,
Right.
because what would happen is we would get off school for the summer, and then you'd come back, and there'd be 4 or 5 empty desks because we were always in the same class together, and those were people that got polio. Got inflicted, and the end of the summer they came back. Carolyn White, I remember she came back with the braces and the crutches.
Wow.
And it was like really depressing. And they went, give you an idea, the polio thing went on for years. I mean years, because we were the guinea pigs, we were the trials, and it was 6-7 years in school. We were getting shots, and they were giving us all kinds of things and trying to figure out what the hell to do. And you know what they told us? You know what the big warning was? Don't play in sandboxes. It was something to do like the
some bacteria.
Well, the neighborhood cats would go crap in the sandbox.
I know this.
They would crap in the sandbox, and then somehow or another you got polio, I guess, from that.
Wow.
And that's where they closed the parks. At one point, Dr. Salk told them, shut all these parks down. Every park had a sandbox. Well, it was for us to play in the sand, but the cats and the dogs weren't aware of that plan. They
didn't get the memo.
Yeah, they didn't get the memo.
They couldn't read the sign.
They just came in and took a dump. All right, so but we had
well, even mumps and measles. Remember,
Yeah,
there was a
mumps and
whole big thing
measles.
about and smallpox and
Chickenpox.
yeah, they had more diseases running around when we were kids. It was
So
unbelievable.
in some ways, we kind of overdue, I guess, for an
Well,
outbreak
speak for
of some.
yourself.
You guys are like superheroes that survived through everything.
Well, I was
Well,
going to
we
say,
did.
yeah, I was going to say Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump. Remember, he was supposed
Yeah,
to be
he was in
a
there.
polio victim.
I love
But
that.
then he
movie.
outran
Ran-
the braces.
yeah.
He's
Run, Forrest.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Now I understand what that meant, because I always watch Forrest Gump and I love it.
Now you can
That
go back
was
and watch
the-
it again.
that
Now
was-
you
Now
know.
I am.
Now you know.
No, I am actually gonna watch it again. So Footy, I wanted to thank you for everything that you've done for me here at Here's Help.
Well, what we have done, not
What
just
you
me.
guys have done.
Yeah.
What your whole clinical crew, your whole staff done.
You realize you're a different guy now, right? You're much more focused. You're much more stable. You also have a direction. You were kind of lost there when you wandered into our door.
Yeah, I remember that day. It's funny enough that the first day I came here, everybody was looking at me like as if I was about to do something crazy. Catalina, I couldn't even talk. I was mumbling words every time she would talk to me.
Yeah,
she'd
you
be
weren't
like,
very
speak
clear.
up. Yeah, I couldn't. It was to the point where I remember going to the cafeteria and you sitting on my left and Sam in front of me, and I was mumbling my words. And every time I would talk, Footy's like coming closer. He's like, "I can't hear you. Please speak up." And I didn't know what to do. I was so freaked out. It's because I was going through something mentally and
Yeah.
like physically. I was going through something. I wasn't really stable.
Yeah.
Could have been like some sort of psychosis or something.
It was psychosis. I don't know
Okay,
about
Dr.
that.
Gregory.
You got his
no,
degree.
he was going through a crisis.
Paranoia.
No, he was going through a crisis, and he was confused, and he
Okay.
did the right thing. He came to us, and look at him.
Yes.
He's ready to go.
Don't you guys have like now a suicide watch for watching certain clients that would come in?
They got suicide watch for me.
Uh.
Okay.
And on that note,
On that note,
Going to bed.
well, good luck to you. That's exciting that you're completing your stay here and you're moving on to bigger and better things. And I'm with Footy. I've noticed I almost couldn't stay in the same room with you when I first met you.
Are you
'cause
serious?
You were all over the place, man. You were bouncing off the walls. So, but I've seen a calmer Nick now.
yes.
I was more
Well,
like a
he's also-
hyperactive
he's-
Nick.
He's also functional.
Yeah.
He knows what to do, how to do it. He's confident. He's helpful. He's smart.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting point. He's a perfect example of how can I say this? All the parts were there. He just didn't have them organized.
They just weren't in sync.
Yeah. And now he's in sync and he's ready to go.
First time I came here, I was like, I don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
I need help. And Footy and everybody else came was like, it goes right here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, that's the way our world is. That's the world we live in. You know?
Well, we'll have to have Nick come back and like do a follow up and see what's
Oh,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
after
Oh, that's fine. I'll do that right
Yeah.
away.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of time,
Couple
Footy,
months
so
down stretch.
wrap this thing up.
Well, Footy, this has been our weekly podcast coming to you from the studios over at Here's Help. You can listen to the podcast by
Just go to YouTube, just search Footy's podcast. Your selections will pop up. And make sure you subscribe, click subscribe, and also click on the little bell icon so you'll be notified when we upload another podcast.
And we have an outpatient program in South Dade. We have an outpatient program in North Dade. We have our residential campus, which is 151st Northwest 27th Avenue. So if you are in need of our type of services, you have somebody that's in our age range in terms of
Which is?
substance abuse. We go to late 20s.
Okay.
And but we also go down to 15. So we have a very wide range. We have our own schools, the Dade County School. Dade County provides the teachers, provides all the learning instruments that we have. So while you are here at Here's Help, you how can I explain it? We try to teach you how to live. We also try to teach you what to do. We also try to teach you where you're going and how you're going to get there. Our motto is recovery through education. It's not just the concept of just I'm going to stop.
Right. Doesn't work.
Doesn't. Well, it works. I know guys that it works.
Well, but you have to
it's
replace.
a rarity. It's a
Right. It's a rough road.
Yeah. So that's our story for this week. I'm Footy. This is Ron Hersey,
Gregory.
Nick,
Nick, we're going to wish you luck.
thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
thank you.
Man.
Are they throwing you, making you a cake or anything this week?
I don't even know if they do. They don't. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the important part.
Yeah.
I wanted
Definitely.
the cake.
I mean, I could remember. I'm still in culinary. I could make you a cake, like Boston cream pie.
Get started.
Oh yeah.
Boston cream pie happens to be one of my favorites.
I know.
Okay.
This man, everything baking wise, this is the man for it.
And coming from Gregory, that says a lot.
Yeah, because he knows everything.
About food.
All right.
All right.
Anyway, the way to get in touch with us is here'shelpinc.com. Just go to our website. You can make an appointment if you have somebody that is having difficulties in a variety of ways, and we can refer you to the appropriate place, or we might be the appropriate place. It depends. So that's it for us this week. And I'm Footy. That's Ron Hersey, Gregory, and Nick. We're going to miss you, bro.
Miss you guys more.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Footy Podcast. To benefit, here's help. For more information about the Footy Podcast or Here's Help, contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. The executive producer of the Footy Podcast is Sam Zarco, COO of Here's Help.